It was a Tuesday morning when the letter arrived. No stamp, no return address, just my name, written in thick, uneven black ink, on a plain white envelope, folded twice, sealed carefully, placed directly in my mailbox. But the paper inside wasn't new. It was yellowed, brittle, like something that had been sitting in a drawer for years. And the message was only one line. Don't go to work today. No signature, no date, no explanation. At first, I thought it was a prank. Maybe someone from the office. But no one ever comes to my building. I live on the third floor of a walk-up with no working buzzer and a front door that sticks unless you know the trick to open it. Still, I stayed home, just in case. Maybe out of superstition. Maybe out of fear. At 10:15 that morning, a fire broke out at my office building. The top 2 floors were destroyed, 3 people died, and the fire started on the exact floor where I worked. I didn't tell anyone about the letter. What would I even say? No one saw who delivered it. There are no cameras outside my building, and I'd torn the paper in half that afternoon and thrown it out. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. The handwriting looked almost familiar. The paper smelled faintly of smoke. Not fresh smoke, but that dry, distant scent that clings to old furniture. And there was something else. A feeling deep in my stomach. This wasn't the only letter. I started checking my mailbox every morning, sometimes multiple times a day. Most days there was nothing, just flyers, bills, dust. But exactly 1 week later, there it was. Same paper, same handwriting, no stamp. Don't answer the door after 11:23 p.m. That night, I stayed up, turned off all the lights and waited in the dark. At 11:22, silence. At 11:23, knocking. 3 sharp, deliberate knocks. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. Whoever it was didn't speak. They didn't knock again. They just waited. I sat there, frozen, for almost an hour. Eventually, I dared to peek through the peephole. There was no one there. But the hallway light flickered, like something had passed through it. The next morning, I convinced myself it was all coincidence. But 2 days later, someone down the hall was found unconscious at his door. He'd opened it late at night, heard a sound. No sign of an attacker, no security footage, just blood on the floor, and a trail of wet footprints that stopped abruptly before the elevator. The third letter didn't come by mail. It was tucked inside a cereal box I bought across town, folded carefully, slid under the plastic bag inside. No tears, no damage. Don't talk to the man in the blue jacket. That same day, at the bus stop, a man in a Navy windbreaker asked me for directions. He looked normal, friendly, even smiled. I walked away without answering. Fast. Later, I heard he followed another passenger onto a different bus. That person never made it home. The 4th letter came from under my pillow. That's when I stopped sleeping in my bed. I moved to the couch, then the floor. Then I started sleeping with the lights on. Every night I checked every drawer, every window. I bought extra locks. I stopped answering calls I didn't recognize. I unplugged the microwave because I thought I heard static from inside it. The silence had changed. It felt like something was breathing through the walls. Then came the 5th letter. It wasn't a warning this time. It was a list. 3:12, AM room 204, face away from the mirror. Don't let her speak. Bring the box. Whatever happens, don't run. I read it over and over. I don't live in a building with room numbers. I don't have a mirror in my bedroom. I don't know what the box is. But something deep inside me whispered, This isn't random. This is building towards something. I started dreaming of staircases that led nowhere, of doors that opened onto black water, of voices whispering behind mirrors I didn't own, and always, always, the sound of paper tearing just outside my window. Now, every time I check the mailbox, I feel it before I open it. Like a pulse. Like something is waiting there for me to see it. The warning letter that arrived before it happened. It's strange what you get used to. For weeks now, I've been living from one letter to the next. I no longer question how they arrive, only what they tell me to avoid. Some came folded into newspapers I didn't buy. Others were wedged inside prescription bottles or tucked under windshield wipers in the pouring rain. Each warning just detailed enough to feel real, each one a step further from anything I could explain. The most recent one read, "It's not your reflection anymore." I didn't understand it until I passed the hallway mirror and saw myself blink a second too late. After that, I covered all the mirrors in my apartment, even the small ones, even the screens on my phone, even the microwave, especially the microwave. That night, I received a sixth letter. I found it inside my boot when I went to leave the apartment. Room 204 is open now. I don't live in a place with room numbers. But when I stepped outside, something had changed. The hallway in my building was longer than before. At least, it felt longer. And halfway down, there was a door that hadn't been there yesterday. Brass numbers read 204. The paint around the frame looked fresh. Too fresh. I didn't want to touch it. But the letter had said, "Bring the box." The problem is, I don't have a box. At least I don't remember getting one. But when I checked my coat pocket, I found something I'd never seen before. A small black velvet case. No markings. It was warm. Like it had been held recently. Like it had been waiting. I took it, and I opened the door to room 204. It looked like my childhood bedroom. Same wallpaper, same crack in the corner of the ceiling, same slight dip in the floorboards near the window. Except, I never lived here. This couldn't be real. But it smelled right. It felt right. And in the center of the room stood a tall oval mirror, completely uncovered. I remembered the note. Face away from the mirror. Don't let her speak. Whatever happens, don't run. I turned around, stared at the far wall, held the velvet box tight. Then, the air changed, like a pressure drop, the way a room feels just before lightning hits outside. I heard footsteps, not walking, dragging. Something moved behind me. I could see its reflection in the glass of a photo frame, pale, thin, head tilted unnaturally, hair hanging low, soaked like it had been underwater. And then, a voice. You weren't supposed to look. But I wasn't looking. I still had my eyes closed. Do you know what it costs to be warned? Her voice was hollow, not angry, sad, like something that had been trapped too long. I didn't speak, didn't move. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder, cold, not human. You should have run. The next thing I remember is waking up on the floor of my kitchen. The black box was gone, but in its place, a letter. Just 3 words. Next time, choose. Now I don't know if the warnings are protecting me or testing me.